Hello YouTubers, my name is Attila Mate from Blue Sky Photography, and today I would like to talk to you about a topic which is very interesting in my opinion, and it's really interesting to discuss this because I think, in my opinion, that it's a clever move from Fujifilm, and that would be why Fujifilm is not going to release a full frame camera. Now, I saw several comments when we are talking about Fujifilm cameras that, oh, Fujifilm system is not good because if you get into Fujifilm system, you buy all your lenses are APS-C lenses, and then if you want to grow and to go to full frame, then you cannot use your lenses. Now, this is a very controversial topic because when some people say that if you want to grow and you want to go to full frame, I think that those people they don't really know what they are talking about. And firstly, because you are not going to full frame because you are growing. And secondly is, if you want to go to full frame, it's because you should do like that. It's because you need a full frame's strength, like strength strong points. When I mean strong points, I mean full frame has in some areas some distinct advantage. The example, low light, you have one stop in ISO, advantage over the APS-C, and shallow depth of field. So if you need these strong points, then you move to full frame, not because you are growing. Let's say some person, if somebody says that, that person is uneducated, or I don't want to be rude over here. Okay, so anyway, as we all know, APS-C cameras these days are very capable for doing any professional kind of job, I tell you. Starting with sports, wildlife photography, wedding photography, portrait photography. There are some ways that even these strong points, which I was mentioning with the full frame cameras, there are ways to balance it up, with APS-C, because APS-C is not that small of a sensor, it's okay. So I'm using APS-C cameras at the moment. I used to have a lot of full frame cameras, and I guarantee you that I made a lot of comparisons. And when I made my decision to move to APS-C. That was a very, very good decision from me. And I'm not planning to move back to full frame any day soon, So let's talk a little bit about Fujifilm and their tactics, why they don't want to get into full frame market. We all know Fujifilm like an APS-C camera manufacturer, and they are pretty good at it, I tell you. I own 2 Fuji cameras, and I'm planning to buy the third one. I'm not sure now which one I will buy yet, but I'm planning to buy the third one. So in the same time, they have great lens selection. Not as big as Nikon or Canon or even now Sony, not as big as that, because they are really, really big. But for my work, which is wedding and portrait photography, the lens selection of the Fujifilm is just enough. So I don't have any complaint. Again, not as expensive. And what does that mean? I hear many times people complaining that Fuji lenses are expensive. Yes, compared to what? Because if you compare Fuji lenses with Nikon or Canon lenses, they are not expensive. If you compare Fuji lenses with Tamron lenses or Sigma lenses, they are expensive because they are branded lenses. Now, in my opinion, if you want to compare lenses, Fuji lenses, you should not compare with third-party lenses, because that's not fair, in my opinion. In my opinion, if you want to compare it with Nikon, Canon, Sony lenses, But in the same time, if you have the option with Nikon, Canon, Sony to buy a third-party lens cheaper, that is obviously an advantage. That's why I'm using, many times, I'm using third-party lenses, because they are cheaper. The image quality is almost the same. There's no difference in it. Many times Tamron zooms are even better than Nikon and Canon zooms, and it's simply worth to buy. But if we compare Fuji lenses with Nikon or Canon or Sony lenses, they are cheaper. And I tell you a simple example. If you take the example, the Fujifilm 56mm f1.2 lens. Now that lens is for portraiture. It's kind of like if we speak about depth of field, because light-wise it's a 1.2 lens. If we speak about depth of field, that lens will be kind of like 1.6-ish, kind of like that, you know, something like that. Better than 1.8, 1.6, on a full frame camera I'm talking about, equivalent. Now, I made a lot of shots with full frame, an 85mm f1.4. And I tell you something, if you compare that with the Fujifilm 56mm f1.2, you don't really see the difference. And you get advantage light-wise, because the light-wise you will get the 1.2. And that's really good. Now that lens I can buy at the moment from the gray market. I'm not talking about the Fuji store, because the Fuji store, the lens will be €1,000. But in the same time, I can buy on the gray market for €700. Now that's really, really good price. But even if you want to go and you buy from the store, it's €1,000 or €950, something like that. I'm sure in the United States it will be 900 or a bit cheaper. But anyway, that lens, that price, €1,000, it's not expensive if you compare with the Nikon 85mm 1.4 or the Canon 85mm 1.4 or the Sony 85mm 1.4. You will see that all of them, they are 1,600, 1,500, 1,700, or these prices, you know. So it's not as expensive. Now this is only one example. But if we speak, we can say Fujifilm have all the bigger focal lengths, I would say the most popular focal lengths. They will have an equivalent lens in the APS-C. The example for the 35mm 1.4, they will have a 23mm 1.4. For the 50mm, they will have a 35mm 1.4. For the 85, they will have a 56 1.2. For the 90mm, they will have a 100mm or something or whatever, you know. But it's for the 70 to 200, they will have the 50 to 135 f2.8. Okay, now depth of field wise, it's obvious that the 50 to 135 f2.8, it won't be depth of field wise the same, because that will be kind of like f4-ish, kind of like that, you know, on a full frame. Depth of field wise I'm talking about. But in the same time, like I said, I'm not complaining. But let's get back to the topic. Why they don't do full frame cameras? You see that they have a big selection of APS-C size cameras, and then they jumped to the medium format. Why? In my opinion, they are very clever, because they know very well that full frame camera market is oversaturated now these days, you know. I mean, Canon is over there, Sony is over there, Nikon is over there, you know, Pentax is over there. Pentax is kind of very small, you know, but anyway, they don't want to do something which will be only next in the line. So that's why they decided to move into medium format, and on pretty affordable price, because if we talk about the Fujifilm GFX camera, if we compare with other medium format cameras, it is pretty affordable. Not for everybody. I can't afford it, you know, but it's not only us, you know. If you need a medium format camera, it is really affordable. Also the lenses and the camera. Now, do you think it would be a wise idea to move to full frame and to develop new lenses and all that, with so much competition from Sony, from Nikon, from Canon? I think they are very clever, because they should not compete with Sony or Nikon and Canon, you know. There's no point. They would not sell that much cameras, you know, to justify all that investigation, you know, in research and development and all that, you know. I think, in my opinion, they are really clever that they moved to medium format, and they will release a new medium format camera probably this year at the Photokina in Cologne in Germany. And I'm very curious to see that camera, because the rumor says that that camera will be a rangefinder type of medium format camera with cheaper price point, and it will be another one which will be 100 megapixel medium format new sensor, and that will be expensive. So we'll see, but in my opinion, they were really clever that they moved to medium format and they didn't start a full frame lineup, because full frame, it's oversaturated these days, and the difference is not really big from APS-C to full frame. Now, like I said, I used to shoot full frame for a long time, and I tell you that I was, I can say at the beginning, I was 100% sure that if you want professional, if you want to work in professional photography, you need a full frame camera. That was my opinion. But after owning, you know, the D750, after owning the D610, after owning the Sony's A7R, A7 Mark II, and the A7R was a 36 megapixel sensor, and when I compared with a 24 megapixel APS-C size Nikon D7200, I was absolutely shocked. I was shocked. Now, like I said at the beginning, I don't say that full frames does not have their own advantage. They do have. But do you need that or not? That's the question. So, I hope that this video was helpful to you guys. I hope that you liked it. Please let me know what you think about Fujifilm's strategy. I think that they are really clever, that they are developing the APS-C lineup further and further, because they have already a great lens selection in it, and they are jumping into medium format directly, and they are developing a medium format. I think they are clever. What do you think about it? If you think that I forgot something from this video, feel free and leave a comment down below. Or if you want to add something constructive, feel free and leave a comment down below. If you would like to support this channel, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you didn't until now. And other than that, I wish you a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.